And as we head in,
Same
it's
Mostly.
it's pretty much the same.
Yeah, I think Doom was still good hero for Team Secret to have. Like there were so many scenarios where just like, all right, Doom's dead. Wait, he's not dead yet. Because Puppy goes this buckler build. Yeah.
Yeah, the buckler helps. Doesn't help very much for Slardar though, and that right there, this draft looks not good for Secret off the start.
Yeah.
To me, because Slardar is such a good hero against tons of strength, tanky cores, and so is Sunray. But it's not even just that; they're also good at lots of other stuff. Stuns are always good. Minus armor to focus heroes down doesn't matter what they are. It's almost always going to be useful. So Alliance they're going to have way better team fight. At least right now. I mean, Doom is a great skill, but I feel like the last couple matches, Doom hasn't seemed as good as he was in the group stage. He's a still effective hero, and Secret's going to open the same way, and it gives you lots of options, but I just put a lot of value in stuns more so than Doom right now.
In some ways, this gives me some confidence to Team Secret. Maybe his Puppy's just saying, look, you guys played like idiots, all right? Draft wasn't the problem. Let's do this. Come on.
Yeah, I would agree. Like, the only reason the draft was a problem was because they let Alliance get back into the game with a couple out-of-position plays. That's it.
And Alliance also did really good drafting against it, right? We really played the Chaos Knight last pick. Puppy can now adjust a little bit drafting-wise to that, but Alliance is doing something potentially different, right? Slardar is kind of the same hero on Dota as it is the Chaos Knight. And I generally like him a lot when it comes to those kind of heroes. I like him on strength fighting cores because I think he's great at creating space, and I think he's great at fighting in the mid game. And this will open up things for like Bulldog to maybe farm up. Maybe you see S4 play more of a carry style mid, but more likely S4 is more of a tempo controller typically.
And Slardar's a lot better early game than Chaos Knight is, I think. Chaos Knight consistently, we just see him get bullied out of lane by lane rotations, whereas a hero like Gyrocopter is totally fine pretty much at all stages of the game up until like 40 minutes usually. Chaos Knight has issues that first 8 or so minutes where he's easily bullied. He doesn't output that much in terms of damage. He's just got a stun, which is still good for a carry. But
Slardar's got a lot of starting armor, and with that sprint, he can really shove that off laner out of lane.
And with the blink, you can completely change team fights. Stun 4 heroes, TP to lane, sprint, stun 4 heroes. That's so much better than what Chaos Knight offers right away.
So if you want to talk about timing, we're talking about like probably at least 10 minutes faster for Alliance this time around, solely because of the difference of Slardar and Chaos Knight. Chaos Knight, much better late game hero. Slardar, much better early game hero, though they do occupy kind of the same sphere.
Definitely they do.
Goodbye, Lone Druid. What would be left for Bulldog, actually? Nature's Prophet, Beastmaster, Lone Druid gone. Oh, and by the way, I like the Lion pick instead of the Wisp one for Team Secret. Just the fact that you know that you need disables up against the Slardar. If a Wisp gets jumped by a Slardar and gets initiated on, it's a dead weight in the team fights. Having some kind of counter initiation against that blink in is super important.
And he has sprint. And if he's sprinting to initiate a team fight or something, then Finger of Death becomes even more value.
Yeah.
Because that is big difference, right? Chaos Knight, much tankier hero.
S4's giggling to himself. Alliance look really chipper.
It's like, haha, we won game 1.
Yeah.
Everybody thought we were going to get 2-0. It's looking good, guys.
Look, guys, they're banning Bulldog. They think it's 2014.
Wow, they actually did ban a lot of Bulldog heroes. What's Bulldog's new offlane hero, guys?
Darkseer.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. Darkseer's real good with Slardar early game, too. I actually really like Darkseer.
Yeah.
And it would pressure Team Secret, might force line to stay in the safe lane more. Limits Secret's carry picks a little bit.
You have to pick it now, though, don't you? With the fear that Secret pick it up again as their third?
I guess that's true. Slardar versus Darkseer is probably not the best. All right, they're doing the strat.
Jakiro. Okay, so I like...
Shut up, Paul.
Is this what they did against Complexity?
Yeah, it was. They picked Jakiro both games.
Yeah.
Game 1, they went a Arcane Mech build, which was an early 5-man strat. And Game 2, they went Ags, which went on Radiant, allowed them to put fire in the Roche pit for 30 seconds, and basically nobody can Roche there. It's actually impossible.
That Chrono really cool strat.
Yeah, and they had Chrono, you're totally right. So maybe that's their offlane. Faces Void Jakiro here. That would make a lot more sense. Although there's still something to be said about vacuum onto Ice Path, right?
Yeah, exactly. Darkseer, Jakiro is still really good. One of the big things about both those lineups is that they both had really early fighting heroes. So like game 1 of Alliance, they had Wraith King, substitute for Slardar, kind of the same hero, right? But the mid for S4 was either Razor or Death Prophet in these games, right? So fighting mid-game, pushing hero in both ways. You know, Razor's a little bit more team fight, Death Prophet's a little bit more push. So expect that style of hero for Alliance could be something, you know, like Viper. They could even go like full-on team fight like that and not get as much pushing power.
Yeah, I think you're totally right. It's very similar to that strat, especially when they pick the Jakiro this early. It's clear that they want the early tower pushing value. They'll have Slaughter Stun, follow up with Ice Path. I sort of like Jakiro versus Clock as well, but I do like Clock a lot against Slaughter. I think that's a really good matchup that you wouldn't get normally with Chaos Knight.
I thought we agreed the Clock hasn't worked yet.
It hasn't that well, but against Slaughter and Jakiro, it's really good. Two heroes with, at least Jakiro, really long cast animations. If you get him solo, he's going to die probably. And if he gets a macro power off or puts a macro power down on Cogs and Clockwork's got Blade Mail up, he's going to reflect a lot of damage back to Jakiro.
During mid-game, I agree with you, but getting to mid-game as Clockwork in this matchup, when you've got Liquid Fire and lane zoning you out, Slaughter's decent the first like 3 levels or so. Clock isn't a hero that can like flash farm jungle or abuse pulling camps or anything like that.
True, but you have
up and running.
You already have a 4 position in Doom. The jungle's already going to be somewhat utilized. It's probably going to be some sort of dual lane, but also Clockwork's one of the best heroes to deal with offensive power. Like back in the days when the off lane was super dangerous, you run like Clockwork and Earthshaker, right? The heroes that would almost always guarantee farm from the laning phase. So. And you also, again, we talked about the timing for Alliance, right? We know the timing is going to be aggressive. It's going to be early. Clockwork will fit into that. He'll actively contest Alliance even before they're ready, and very few offlaners can do that.
As soon as he's 6, he's going to be looking for solo kills or initiating on Slardar, because that's kind of the big thing about the fight, and one cool thing about their draft is that they can protect the Phoenix Egg with both Slardar and Faceless Void. If Clock can, like, zone one of those heroes, it gives Secret a much better chance of killing the egg, and then they just win the whole fight.
So you expect max battery build over the max rocket?
Not necessarily, but I mean,
battery got value.
It got pretty damage buffed, But I do like the Clock Doom. I think it's a good solution towards some of the heroes Alliance has. Not very good versus Void though, because he can usually time walk out of it. But if you force him into like time walk to get out of Cogs, it's going to limit your Chronosphere afterwards. So I think there's a lot of things the Universe can do in the initiation before these early fights start that could win them this game, definitely.
It's also a hero that Bulldog's been playing as a carry from the offlane, going for like Vlad's Echo Saber and Maelstrom, actually dealing damage with the Faceless Void rather than the utility Void.
I think he's going to want to go utility though, because they got to be ready ASAP, and that's why Slaughter's better here in some ways than Wraith King. As soon as they get Blink Dagger on Alliance and they get 6 on Jakiro, Void, Phoenix, that's when they group up and start pushing. And then it comes down to initiation. They have better initiation clearly, because they could hypothetically burst Doom right away, Sunray, Slardar damage, Macropyre. That's what they got to do. If they stop Doom, then I think that Secret can't win the rest of the fight. Maybe. Depending on who Clockwork grabs. That's the big one.
Let's see. I kind of like... so I think that Secret at this point just get themselves a little bit better late game, a timing sort of hero that's around 30 minutes just before Alliance can end it. Because I think Alliance is going to go for the pusher in this game. I think they're more likely to...
For their 4th or 5th pick?
To go for the Death Prophet, maybe the Razor, rather than like an early game focused hero than Viper. Just because if they don't, I don't feel like they can really end the game.
So what mid do you think?
Invoker.
Okay. Well, that's a good one. If he goes Quas Wex especially, I think he has to Quas Wex here. If he goes Exord, I think he's not going to do enough in fights early. I mean, they have some Sunstrike setups, but the most important thing that you can do against pushes is either kill heroes or drain their mana. Either one, and they're done. They have to leave. And they only have one Arcane hero on Jakiro. Phoenix almost likely will not buy Arcanes, so if he gets some good EMP Tornadoes off this game, it can actually just win fights and stop pushes.
Yeah, I think because the Invoker, you now have superior late game, most likely. It's just because the Invoker, like, if you push it late enough, you get the levels, you get that Deafening Blast. There's so many combinations that Invoker's dangerous with late game. So I think now you just try and get some sort of aggressive safe laner. I thought it was actually going to be the safe laner that would be the late game advantage that was had, but I didn't think about Invoker being still in the pool.
Clinkz is a super good ban. Great against Phoenix Egg with the HP you get from Death Pact, good against Slardar, but I think it's even more important you have something with like an attack speed steroid against Liquid Fire. That Jakiro could really stop you in your tracks.
And you have to be ranged because you have to worry about Chronosphere.
And an Agi hero is preferable against like Slardar and Void, just to have the armor.
That's true. And Sunray as well.
And Sunray, true.
So range.
Weaver, Morphling, Ursa.
Drow Ranger.
I looked
Drow
at Drow
strat.
and I was like, maybe Drow.
Oh,
They have 2 melees.
I didn't expect that against. I mean, I thought you still had to have. Okay.
Well,
Because Slardar and Faces Void both are able to close the gap really quickly.
okay, and Alliance is going to just go for a full team fight initiating hero on Batrider. The Drow will give them better lanes though, and they do have a bit better lanes, I think, than Alliance does. Alliance has to hit those level 6s. They'll have some roam with like Phoenix, Jakiro, but they could get punished.
The timing is definitely on Secret here. Not what I expected with the Drow Ranger last pick, but that's what Joe Strats do for you. All of a sudden, it's like, it's a push lineup.
All right, it's going to be fun. Thank you very much to all 3 gentlemen. We are going to head down to the commentators next as Odie, Pixel, and Blitz wait for us to bring Game 2.
Yeah, thank you very much, Red. Indeed, myself and Blitz next to me. We're ready to go for Game 2. Game 1 Blitz, a little bit of a shambles from some of the showing of Team Secret's players, but hopefully Game 2 they'll be able to step it up a little bit more. They're trying something different here. They're pulling out MV Drow strat. But at the same time, I look at Alliance's lineup. They've got a lot of ways to deal with the Drow.
Yeah, they have a lot of gap closing like Kevin talked about. They've got a lot of different stuns. They've got the ability to get in there. And that's what Drow players hate, when you can just close the gap on them really easily and make it easy for the rest of your teammates to get in there too. But the one downside of Alliance's lineup is really this just kind of feels like a single core Slardar. Like Void is not reliable to farm with. There's not a lot of synergy between Void and Slardar as 2 cores. Obviously, Jakiro and Phoenix pair up quite well with them, but still, if it comes to the ultra late game, I sort of think I favor Secret's lineup, but this mid game is going to be really dangerous for them to fight around.
This is going to be obviously a very crucial game as well for Secret. They drop this. This will be the end of their run in this tournament. So we can indeed expect to see them giving it just giving us their all. And something as well, I mean, how much of a fan are you of the clock this patch? As the panel said, it's yet to be a real hero that we've seen again that's been like, wow, the clockwork is amazing. Can it work?
So I was criticized a lot for miscalling the Ancient Apparition, but before the game I told Durka, when a hero like Clockwork or AA, they first get put into the meta, those are heroes that you can't just pick for every situation. What it really takes is you have to find these specific set of conditions. Like you need to have some sort of space creator with him, like the Doom, that can help abuse other heroes on the enemy side. I'm not sure if this is going to be the Clockwork game. I'm always a little bit skeptical about this hero, but maybe there's something about this hero that Alliance or Secret have sort of figured out that'll make it work, but kind of going to be rough. I think this is mainly just because they don't spread farm out very much on this team. They really need Universe to make things happen without any measure of farm, and that's probably why. In the game that we saw previously, it didn't quite work out because he almost had to have farm because they only had that single core, but now they spread it out with the dual core, and I think this might be what makes it work.
Okay, well, yeah, indeed, as you said, the way that they're laning here is Secret. I've got this control for Bulldog, certainly once there's a few levels on the line. The mid lane, this matchup, we saw in game 1, RTZ on his puck, did kind of some decision in the team fights. He was getting picked off a lot, but the laning stage was fantastic. It was flawless, you know. He was absolutely destroying S4, but that was a very different situation, a Puck versus Tiny. Invoker versus the Bat. I mean, how do you see this playing out in the mid?
I think Invoker isn't going to be able to get too much farm just because the Batrider can almost always constantly use the sticky napalm. It's going to be incredibly hard for him to trade off of, and I really like this decision, by the way, for Alliance to not play that greedy 4 position. They want to make sure that this Clockwork is useless in this game.
See on the bottom, Bulldog. Again, just being fended off by Envy. Bulldog's he's getting the levels, but in terms of the CS, it's going to be hard against this this duo. There, top lane, Puppy came up, wandering in, but Aka will be quick to force him back. The harassment from the Phoenix, and towards the mid, it's as you said, S4, he is certainly having a very nice time against RTZ's Invoker at the moment.
Yeah, this is going to just be a lane where there's a lot of kill potential on the side of the Batrider, coupled with the fact that the bad churn rate from the Invoker doesn't really allow him to trade hits very effectively. That's always going to be what determines it for a Batrider versus anyone matchup. You can't really get hits in because you can't ever churn away. You have to be hard committed to that, and Puppy going to deny the rune. No S4 flame breaks him.
Very nice indeed for S4. He's not letting anyone else take those haste runes that he holds so closely to his name. Bottom lane, Bulldog. Getting the slaps in onto Envy. There'll be a rotation back in from Pi. That's the time walk down. Bulldog's actually going to go for TP out. Pi is going to be able to cancel this one here.
This is an awkward situation, but Envy can't help out.
Yeah, Envy not moving forward indeed, and so they won't be able to get any damage down. And yeah, worth noting as well, look at this top lane, Loda, 12 for 12. I mean, this Clockwork just seems to be unable to do anything in the lane at the moment against this try lineup of Alliance.
Does have 3 denies though, which is quite surprising, and still doing okay. Has grabbed his level 2. And Universe always just trades out with EGM, not allowing him to cast really any of the dual breaths directly on top of him. And he's keeping both supports up here too. And neither of the supports, because they're not getting any kills, they're running into the same problem as they had the last game. They're just going to get behind in levels to this dual lane at bottom.
You can see Puppey as well at the moment. He keeps kind of rotating around towards this top. Now he's got his eyes back towards the middle. Looks like he's just maintaining.
He doesn't want to give up that creep, but is ultimately forced to. I think once you go past 2 creep waves, you think, okay, just got to get what you can.
They've rotated Pi into the mid as well. They want to try and make a go on S4 by the looks of it. He hasn't got any points in Firefly yet. At the same time, he is saving one and does indeed still have that haste rune. So, Secret, 3 heroes around the mid, but not really able to do anything about this Batrider.
Again, he just continues to lay down those stickies. Even without a whole lot of kill potential, you don't want to get stickied more than 3 or 4 times.
It certainly seems that this matchup still 87-66. Thanks to kind of the presence of Puppey, it looks like that's been enough to allow Arteezy to catch up. Just making S4 being a little bit more careful about the way he plays. He's trying to grab himself the rune, and he will, but with the cold stab, the right clicks. Oh, okay. There with his Sunray, the heals keeping S4 alive. And S4 will be fine. He gets himself away and just manages to avoid letting Secret get themselves that first blood onto him, thanks to Ake's rotation.
With that haste rune too, he's going to make his way all the way to bottom, find the invis rune, and that's going to allow him some more opportunities to get aggressive on this mid lane. At the same time, Invoker's still getting more CS than the Batrider. Quite surprising.
He's called back, yeah. He's recovered really nicely here, Arteezy.
Yeah, this is a lineup or matchup that I thought he would struggle with a lot more.
Bat is in trouble with the Sunstrike as well. This could be your first blood, and invis rune, boys. S4. I mean, that man and his runes. You don't get luckier than that. You really don't.
Gonna go to the jungle, try to stack for himself. Unfortunately for him, there's only gonna be one of those creeps there. This Puppey's already eaten one. But looks like he just wants to go back to base, expend his mana and his HP, try to be as efficient as possible.
And Loda, of course, working towards that armlet. And he'll have it in very, very good time at this rate. But at the same time, you look over to Envy here himself. He's getting just as much from the Drow Ranger. As we can see, 35-13. The lane's starting to get pushed in, and with the rotation of Pi. Puppey as well. Maybe they could try and get onto Bulldog. If they can get the lead in Hex, they could have a good shot of it. Not quite hitting level 6, but it might not matter with the Scorched Stuff. The stun into the Sunstrike. There's your first blood. And very nice, of course, as well, that Arteezy will get that killing blow. So he's going to get himself that golden XP.
And the best part about that kill is that you deny Bulldog all of this free experience that he would have had otherwise in this lane. That's why you notice Loda up at top. He's pushing in past the creep wave to make sure that the Clockwork doesn't just get free farm. As the bottom, S4 set up. He's got the ultimate available if they just TP in one more hero.
Let's see if they can catch out here. They're going to focus onto Pi, allowing Bulldog to get in, looking for the bashes. Envy's turning around now, starting to punch into S4. S4's got to be careful. This level 6 Drow, he certainly punches. One more touch. Oh, not quite enough. And Bulldog just turning around, man fighting against the side of Secret. He's got a time walk in a second. Can he finish off Puppey? Jumps forward now. Puppey is able to duke it out to the south. Envy still looking for Bulldog here. Bulldog, he's in a lot of trouble. Oh, if he gets a bash, he won't. He won't get the bash. Puppey teasing him there, giving the vision to Envy. And Secret do find themselves a second. S4's come back into this one. And with the lasso, trying to drag him back. Puppey's still around with the Scorched Earth, and he'll just kind of play it around the side, get the burn damage through. They'll lose Envy, they'll get S4 in return. So a little bit scrappy there. I mean, is it worth S4 throwing his life away for the Envy kill? Because I mean, a lot of space is being given to Arteezy mid as well.
Exactly, and he was able to set up for 2 of those Sunstrike kills. So it's not even like they really lost tempo. They still trade. They lose the mid hero as a result. This slows down his Blink Dagger a little bit. And more importantly, like you said, it's going to give free farm to this Invoker who nabs 2 of those kills at bottom that they set up.
And he's got a 7-minute Midas now, that's all.
Yeah. Normally, this is going to come out a lot later, especially considering the start that he's had. The good news, though, for Alliance is they have gotten a lot more levels on these heroes just because they were able to rotate mid. Jakiro's already hitting level 4. At the same time, the Phoenix is in a similar position. And just even 2 or 3 minutes ago, they were so far behind in levels.
And this is certainly looking, but again, we saw this from Secret in game 1. They did have a strong laning phase, and they're just unable to transition it into a reliable mid-game with some questionable decisions. We'll see if they've learned from the mistakes, and with this kind of different lineup, they can make something a little bit more successful happen. Pi, very nicely as well, ignores the void, goes for the lockdown onto Ake. Very, very smart play and choice there from the line. And again, it's another kill for Invoker. I mean, RTZ is, he's going to be, as we can see, he's getting so much. He's already 1K ahead of S4's Batrider.
Yeah. And most of this is just coming from his team, setting up for him with the line.
It really is.
Very well done by him. Although you're going to look at the score if you're not watching the game and think RTZ's creating a lot of space, but this has mainly come down so far to Pi's initiations, finding the angles around heroes. So far, they've been so successful. And this is going to free up the map a lot for them, as somebody has to come deal with mid, and at the same time, Universe finally starting to grab those levels up at top that he so crucially needs.
He really, really does. There's still been Alliance really just holding strong on their safe lane, mid lane. Look at this, going in again. S4 in a lot of trouble. He's going to go down. Another kill for RTZ. It really doesn't get better than this for the Invoker. Coming up to 9 minutes in. You know, the amount of kills that he's had at the early timing on that Midas. I mean, if you're Alliance, what do you do to slow down RTZ's progression? Because he surely is getting out of control.
You need item timings more than anything. Even the Void Chrono might be a little bit iffy. They're probably going to need at least 2 or 3 heroes there to be able to kill it. And Admiral Bulldog looks like he wants to set up for it. But if he doesn't get that successfully, then the Dro just continues to farm up at top. Universe can start to make things happen with his hook shots. And Alliance, they're going to have to come out in a big hurry. Similar situation as they were in the mid-game last game, where Batrider needs to get the Blink Dagger before he makes anything happen. So instead, it's going to be Loda that makes the rotation over. It looks like they want to invade the jungle. They know that Envy's there. Nobody's showing at bottom. And they might actually find him here as Envy fears that cliff, though. And great game sense by him.
Yeah, and from the side of Secret as well, they're all coming around mid. You've got the full 5-man here, so if Alliance do decide to take a fight, that will be back up. Chrono's going to get dropped on Envy, but look, Secret already rotating in. Universe trying to get him with a hook shot. Envy, can he be kept alive? He's going to walk himself off. They're trying to turn around. They nearly get Ake. He has to get out with the Hex onto board up Pi, initiating the turnaround. They found Ake as well as he burned out. So 2 kills for Secret, and as we saw there, you know, Alliance desperate to fight, but Secret, they had the full 5-man ready to return, and at the end of the day, it was just a bad initiation, really. Chronoing off the Drow on the back line, and they weren't able to kill him. And Secret got the perfect wraparound onto the remainder of Alliance's side.
And that was an amped up Dro. You figured that she would go down quite quickly. This was a smoke gank by them where they rotated both those cores in, and it didn't work. Instead, they lose 2 heroes.
I mean, that really kind of seems like the mistake that Secret made in game 1, you know, fighting around a tier 2. Just getting a little bit carried away, too desperate to find something, and then it really biting them in the foot. And now you're suddenly losing objectives. And Secret are going to be starting to climb a fair amount ahead of you in terms of the net worth. We'll see if Alliance can fight here, though, as they are all grouped around the mid lane. Oh, no real kind of jump potential yet. Did S4 finish? Yeah, he's got the blink done now on the bat. I mean, it kind of all eyes on S4. We saw in game 1 how much he was able to do with the blink on Tiny in terms of just catching members of Secret off guard. He's got to do that again and bring his A game here in game 2, really.
They're going to need this Batrider blink, like you said, to make a lot of space for them, because Secret, they can just passively farm if they want. This Invoker can go to the Ancients. He's going to have the Midas. He's going to naturally get further and further ahead the more this game goes passive. And Secret, they can still get aggressive. They've got Hookshot into the Sunstrike. They've got different combinations to work out as long as these 3 are together. These core 3 heroes. They can even sit behind Envy in this situation, go for the push out, maybe even wait for S4 to try to get aggressive here, but Alliance just going to farm a little bit, slow down the pace of the game for themselves. Trying not to get into another scenario where they have to make something happen without that Batrider.
And Secret, you know, with this pushing power, they can afford to do it. They just go up onto the tier 1. They will take it. I'm going to be interested to see what EGM goes from this Shakira, because we've seen a lot of different ways this hero's been played. You know, kind of the classic is the yours, but I feel like more often than not recently, we've seen Veil into Aghanims, and sometimes even just straight Aghanims rush. I mean, do you expect EGM to keep it kind of El Clasico with the yours and Universe whiffing the hook shot? And yeah, that initiation is not going to happen. So yeah, what's the plan for EGM now in this current meta on the Jakiro? What's the optimal build?
He could decide to just go for the point booster straight away, which is exactly what he's going to do.
So will he then finish that off straight into the Ags, or could he still go back to other items after
I still
that?
think he goes for the Ags here.
Yeah, just straight Ags now. Okay.
It just feels good as support. When you walk by, you've got 1,000 gold. You don't really need arcanes on a hero like Jakiro. It sort of just adds up and makes sense. As they're going to go for the trade, but that's a tier 2 tower. Normally what the Dire side will go for in that case is go for the Roshan immediately, but not really in a position to do so. They don't have somebody that can tank for them. And this game comfortably is so far Secret's. And mid-game, we thought this was going to be where Alliance came online, but even with the Batrider Blink Dagger, because of the defensive position that Secret have taken, it's been a little bit too difficult for them.
So we're having a few connection issues here with Pi. We're getting back in, but yeah, this kind of momentum from Secret, it's scary when you just look at the value that Artis is walking around with. You know, he's nearing onto 8k. It's a good clear 3k ahead of both the Bat and of course Loda's Slardar. You know, Alliance, they really need something big. I mean, maybe they can find it with a Chronosphere, but it's just going to be a question of whether Secret give them that opportunity where they are going to be all grouped up. Because at the moment, Secret certainly stepping up the play from Game 1 here in Game 2.
It is going to be difficult for Alliance to rush into that because of the clockwork. You've got a lot of naturally tanky heroes.
Yeah.
Would kind of like to see somebody grab something like a Force Staff to try to help Envy out in the situations where he does get gone on immediately. Of course, Envy might not even be the issue here. Like you said, Invoker does have so much farm on him already. Level 11 easily leads this game in both XP and net worth. And Envy's not too far behind either, considering he doesn't have that Midas. This top push, though, gonna force one of the heroes from Alliance to come back in. That might actually just prompt Secret to immediately go mid, try to pressure that tier 2 tower. Alliance aren't gonna fight.
Here we go. We've got Pi back in the game, so we should be able to get ourselves back in as we just enjoy these beautiful shots of the players. There's S4, man himself. He's in the zone at the moment. He is ready to get back in. And Envy, close that tab, son. Let's get on with the game. Thank you, Jackie. Let's go. Here we go. Game 2 continues. It's 8 for 2 at the moment. That's 12.5 minutes in. As you're saying, it's going to be hard for Alliance to find that real big swinger to bring this one back round at this stage. But at the moment, they're just avoiding the fights, looking for these pushes. They'll get this tier 1. They scan the sidelines just to make sure no kind of counter jumps going to be there from Secret, and it won't be in D, so they'll get away with this one. They'll send Loda back up to clear out that top wave, continue to get the farm on the Slardar. But Secret at the moment, I mean, if you're Secret, I guess you've just got to try and make sure you don't do what you did in Game 1 at this point. You've got the lead, you've got the edge. Don't go for any kind of those plays that are going to come back to punish you pretty hard.
Oh, Loda up at top. Does get hit by that Sunstrike, but Armlet toggles, and yes, you are correct. In that mid-engagement, remember when they were going for EGM?
Yeah.
They fail the hookshot, they immediately disengage. I think they're being a lot more disciplined in this game. They're playing out their lineup to its strengths a lot more than they were in game number 1. In game number 1, it felt just a bit off because they have a Spectre, they were rolling in the lanes, and then they just felt like they had to make something happen. And now this game, they're playing a lot more patient.
Look at this.
EGM's not going to go
A
down.
wild dragon's been found. EGM waltzed around the mid lane, and Puppey and Pi, they'll be quick to sort that out.
I think they might even decide to go for this tier 2 mid. They first have to deal with bottom, though, as that'll probably be the Invoker sent down there. They should defend this, though, as 5. This is an easy defense for them to make.
I guess this is the thing as well. I mean, in comparison to Secret's lineup, Alliance, all they're pushing kind of just rests on EGM's Jakiro, really, doesn't it?
Yeah. EGM has to be kind of that front line for them as Batrider plus Slardar and Void. Those aren't cores that you want to commit to hitting towers.
Yeah.
Those are cores that you simply want to keep back, and that's why Jakiro as a pick makes sense. The problem with Jakiro, though, is when you get behind in games like this, it just feels like you don't have a whole lot to do outside of farming.
Absolutely. I mean, they've now got that Blink Dagger turn on Loda, so we'll maybe see if they want to try and make some plays happen with him leading in. And in fact, with this movement from the base, smoked up. They want to do something big with the Blink Dagger reveal. It's just a question of whether Secret's positioning is going to allow Alliance to find that jump onto them. They move into the jungle. Secret, 3 heroes down at the moment, but already you can see playing very defensively. Keeping Pi and Universe behind the tier 2. Puppey's already made his way back over to the mid lane, so this presence of Alliance, that they're not going to be able to find a kill off the back of it. I mean, Roshan's up, but again, Alliance's lineup, they've got the Amplify, but still it's not going to be the quickest of Roshans, and Secret will be very, very happy with fighting around the pit. So Alliance realize they're not going to find anything, they just back up and just continue to farm out on their cores for the time being.
Secret just taking control of the jungle as well. They're making sure that they're getting the max amount of efficiency. So far, that has happened in Alliance. You've got 2 Blink Dagger cores. We already argued that they don't have the best ways to combo one of these cores with the Faceless Void. Your Void's starting to really fall behind in farm. The death knell of this hero right now is that he's behind the Clockwork in net worth. Void obviously being a little bit more farm heavy.
Oh, look at this ward as well. This could set up a beautiful hook shot. It really could. If they come round here, University's got the eyes on. Who's he going to go to? The blink out there from S4. Actually going to focus their attention towards Loader. They've caught him out. He's on his own. Doom, everything dropped onto the fish. And that is Loader gone. So we talked about them wanting to do something with the smoke, with the blink dagger reveal on Loader's Slardar. It's been revealed, but it's not him finding the initiation. It's Secret jumping onto him. Bottom lane, Bulldog goes for the Chrono onto Envy, but Arteezy on the sidelines just punching into him. Can they kill this man? They've got the lasso dragging him in. They should have a good shot at this one with the Supernova as well. Envy ticking low. Arteezy as well trying to get himself away from this. Envy will get caught out by the stun. They'll take him down, and at the same time, they found themselves a second. Exactly the 2 kind of pickoffs that Alliance wanted to find, and I mean that was pretty much just what Arteezy and Envy on their own on the side lane, and Secret weren't there to back them up.
Yeah, maybe Envy and Arteezy thought that those 2 alone, because they had picked off the Slardar, would be able to hold the line right there, but this is still a lot of teamfight on the side of Alliance, and it just feels like that was 2 lives kind of emptily thrown away. As Secret were on the other side of the map, they were establishing control in the Alliance jungle. You notice all the wards are in that area too. They didn't even have a ward past that line at bottom. So they didn't even see the initiation come in from Bulldog. They can't allow things like that to happen. Maybe if they have the ward up on this cliff, then maybe there's a play to be had right there. But even then,
it's going to be hard as well for Secret now. You know, you've got this gem on Batrider. We're seeing the Secret's warding, especially around the jungle, you know, trying to get this vision so they can set up for like University's hook shots and stuff. So if S4's able to take those wards down, it's going to be a lot harder for Secret to move onto this half of the map, and that was kind of one of the weaknesses of Secret in Game 1 that we saw. There was a lot of times they were fighting against the high ground, they didn't have the vision up, and that was when Alliance were able to turn around and hit them back very, very hard. Secret were just a little bit too desperate to find those fights. Still though, the numbers are looking good. You're looking towards Arteezy. You know, albeit did get picked off on the bottom lane, but he's still miles away, miles ahead in terms of farm at the moment. He's what, 4K clear of S4. That's a pretty significant amount to be had at 18 minutes in.
Still in a very good position. Just has to continue to play this steady farming game. Not really in a position where he wants to make a go of it, especially alone. You can allow your teammates to set up. We saw the most successful he's been so far is whenever he gets to set up for these Sunstrike kills.
Mid lane. Bulldog just time walking back. Pi or Universe unable to find the lead in. And Arteezy just continuing to push out these lanes to clean up the jungle of Alliance. And find his way towards down Aghanim Scepter, which he is going to very, very shortly have done here. Pi. It's the ward out, but straight away with that gem, S4 taking it away from him.
A very important ward for them to place, just because you want to try to get vision around that area, make sure that you can go for these sneak Roche attempts and nobody from Secret sees you. Most importantly, because that bottom tier 2 is one of the few tier 2s up still for you, it's going to be natural to fight around it.
And just scanning out this area of the map. Secret, they're just seeing if Alliance were heading into the Roshan. Obviously, just a little bit away after that D ward that could be the case, but Alliance don't look to want to try for Roche. I mean, with this kind of lineup, do Alliance need to try and find a pickoff really before they commit to Roshan as a full 5?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Against Secret's lineup, they can close gaps really quickly with that Clockwork. Then, if Universe gets a really good hook shot into Cogs by that Roshan pit, you can see him do a lot of damage right there with that Blade Mail. No BKBs on the side of Alliance so far. So probably have to play a little bit more careful than you like. But they have done the right thing. When the game gets a little bit passive like this, try to pick up a gem. Make sure that you're at least winning in the vision game, if not the farm one.
And then this is going to be big as well. I mean, looking towards Pi, he's been playing it safe, and now he has pretty much got that money for the Blink Dagger. And having that Blink against some of these high mobility heroes, and a lot of heroes they're going to be looking to jump in and jump out. It could be very nice for Secret to start the fight with Pi getting the lockdown onto one, and well, knowing Pi, he will be able to find the angle to catch out multiple heroes with his positioning. And Jakiro EGM, he's got the 4 staff though, so obviously if he's not going to be the one jumped on, something to try and back his teammates out of the fights with if they do get jumped on by Pi.
They are setting up around mid. And Alliance just trying to clear out their jungle with the gem. They've got to push out this top lane though before they want to make anything happen. Secret, because they haven't pushed out this top lane immediately, get scared for a second, but now with Hero showing up at top, I think this is going to prompt them to get around the map.
Secret themselves eyeing up this Roshan, and I mean both teams seem very, very, very scared of going for it, whilst the other side is still in full strength for live. Alliance coming back over. It's going to be unlikely that they're able to find anyone from inside the pit because both teams just refusing to enter the area at the moment, just keeping themselves back, and it just begs the question of who's actually going to be the one to find the jump on the other, and who's going to be able to utilize this kind of stalemate timing of the game to their advantage. I mean, we can see Alliance pushing out the mid lane a little bit whilst having S4 in position on the side.
Any lineup that just features a single core, the Void and the Slaughter obviously not really being one positions that you necessarily want at some point, especially with this Hood build that Bulldogs decided to go for, and Loda just hasn't been able to farm too much. So in that situation, of course, you would like Secret's lineup. Yeah. They can afford to passive it out because your Invoker has a lot of room to grow. He has very definitive power spikes. Same with this Drow Ranger even. And the 2 supports from Secret just have a little bit more impact when it comes to team fights.
Look at S4 on the side here. He's still hanging around. They'll spot him out. The question is, do they want to try and jump in onto the bat? So they don't want to here with a hook shot. Holding it off, but now they will. I mean, yeah, S4 is miles away from his team, and he's gone. S4 teased them a little bit too long, and Secret, they'll jump on him. I mean, Alliance are backed up, and S4 still... And they have vision with the rocket. So no escape for the bat, and without the bat on the map, this is a good chance for a Secret to go for the Roshan. And looking at Alliance's positioning, I guess they just realized that trying to jump in without the Bat Rider is a pretty much impossible task.
No, I think this is a Roshan that is very free for Secret, especially after that bat kill. And they understand how S4 wants to play. Some of these players, a lot of these players played with him before on that old Secret roster. They know that he likes to try to go for these jumps on stragglers. His team has a lot of different ways to follow up, but instead they continue to deny and just frustrate Team Alliance.
And it seems to be working at the moment. It really does. You know, 23 minutes into this game compared to game 1, it seems like a totally different way of playing. Indeed. I mean, this man, Artur, he's going to be very, very open to going for a play onto EGM. If EGM comes out a little bit too far, the pings. Actually from Puppy. Maybe telling Arteezy to be safe, stay back. But now, I mean, EGM has come rather far down this lane. 4-star isn't going to save you some. And they'll pick themselves up another one. And going the way of Arteezy once again on his Invoker. And we really are seeing at this point that just the cause of Secret Envy and Arteezy, they are ahead. And it's kind of questionable whether Alliance is going to be able to get themselves back on top.
And this is how I think people originally expected Team Secret to play.
Yeah.
They pick very split push heavy cores that can create space for each other around the map. They utilize this 3-man rotation of the Doom plus the Clockwork and the Lion to make things happen around the map.
Exactly. I mean, none of this kind of Arteezy puck nonsense, you know what I mean?
They're just they're honestly just trying to frustrate Alliance right now, and it's working because you see Alliance, they're starting to push out with single cores. They're not really playing that tight ship that we saw last game, and they're just losing heroes one by one, and you start to see that frustration. What are we supposed to do in this situation? Because if they directly fight into them, Secret have so much farm that it could just go all wrong.
It's going to be a nice invis room for Pi if Alliance try to fight this. They're still very, very hesitant.
They've not found a fight in a really long time. Despite that double Blink Dagger, that's usually going to be
That's got to be an issue. Especially, yeah, when you're running that lineup. Where is your late game in comparison to a Drown and Invoker? And S4, he's been caught out. The Sunstrike, this man is very much a dead man. Universe comes in to seal the deal, and that's the bat gone for 50 seconds. With kind of plays like this, it looks like this is kind of surefire going to be going to a game 3 here, Blitz at the moment.
Yeah, at this rate. Just because Secret, they continue to off-farm you.
And look at EGM, top. This is another kill for Invoker. Arteezy's just styling on them this game.
Yeah, they're just... I think this is the part of the game where mentally they've kind of checked out a little bit, where there aren't a lot of things that you can do. Secret, even though they're playing passively, they still wake up Alliance once in a while with the gank. They say, oh, keep on your toes. Then Alliance feels a little bit more scared, and Secret find one pick off once in a while.
Oh, Loda slides in and immediately getting beaten down by Secret. And yeah, back to base, Ake. Back to base. Bulldog will come in. Well, he's got a Chronosphere. He's not really got anyone else around to help him now. With the TP through from bat, S4 jumps in, gets the last one to Universe. Bulldog, nice Chrono on the back lines, holding back the heroes. Universe with the blade mail up, actually forcing out. Universe styling himself out of the base. He'll survive. They'll be the Supernova, but Secret, they're coming in. They're trying to take it out, and they will. That's going to be 2-3 down. Buyback from Bulldog. Invoker will pop, but he's got the Aegis. Bulldog moving back in off the back of this buyback, looking for Puppey, but Puppey, he's got the blade mail. Doesn't matter. Bulldog will continue through, find the kill. But Secret, they've found themselves the mid melee Rex. Top range Rex go down as well. Now, what is the plan here for Alliance? Invoker, Arteezy very much in a huge power of strength. A very good position this game. And they punish Envy. He's been left behind. A little bit scrappy now from Secret as they do lose off the carry, but space created. This is what you're talking about. He's having these two cores to just create space for themselves, and I'm sure that was the plan there from Envy. At least that's what he's telling the team. As Arteezy's able to do a significant amount of damage to the tier 3 on the bottom lane, and it's, I don't know, Alliance, they do hold the base, but at quite a heavy cost.
Yes. Losing 2 racks right there. You lost your tier 3 towers. The bottom tower is in shambles too. Already at half HP. Alliance finally finds some kills, but it's at the cost of their racks. It's when Secret finally decide to group up and take a fight, and even then it goes quite well for them. The heroes that needed to get out got out. Invoker's still alive. Bulldog was looking for something, but now Invoker's got that Lincoln Sphere, going to be able to cancel out that Bat Rider's initiation, or at least force him to waste that Force Staff. And we saw Secret is always there with the counter initiation of the Lion, Highlight Die, having that Blink Dagger. Always quick to try to get that counter initiation Hex off, and now Secret, their game becomes very formulaic. They can decide to go for the straight up push if they want. They know that Team Alliance, they just don't have that damage to back up the Chronospheres. Maybe if they slip up like crazy, they could decide to go for this frustrating style of look for hit and run pickoffs, then go for the immediate push. They have this objective in Roshan coming up in 5 minutes.
Let's see what Secret want to do now. They're in the jungle, moving around towards the mid. They could get a good wrap around as well if Alliance come out straight away. Universe hooking in onto EGM. He's got the Force, gets himself out. The Sunstrike, it's going to be on point. Another one for Secret. S4 jumping in, but immediately the reaction's there. The combo coming through from Arteezy. S4 to get Loda finger onto Loda. He's gone. S4 drops as well, and they're trying to turn us the egg. They won't find it, but it doesn't matter. Ake's got to run himself. And at this point, really, you're just looking at Arteezy 11-1-7. I think he's certainly made up for the performance in game 1 here. He's very, very much comfortable in his element, and there is nothing that Alliance can do to stop this buy, apart from Bulldog.
High again with that counter initiation.
Indeed, this Lion so strong against the lead-in that Alliance continuously want to look for. Bulldog will be able to time walk himself away. There's a buyback from Ake, buyback from S4. S4 no lasso for 30 seconds, and Secret is just given all the space they want to pummel into the tier 3. Now opening onto the racks. EGM, he's back on. And Envy pots the BKB, and Arteezy coming back in, styling them, pushing them back. And this is, I mean, Alliance really are holding on their best. But the 2 full sets of racks down, the bottom racks now exposed, and Secret, they're still very much ready to jump back into the fight. It's a 25,000 net worth lead at 29 minutes in. Looking for Invoker. Arteezy's just ready to come back in. They're looking to go straight forward. Load against the crush on the Puppey, but Universe again with the cogs. Onto Bulldog, onto EGM. They're trapped up in the middle of this one. EGM, he's going to fall. Arteezy jumping in, focusing on S4. A couple more touches will bring down the bat. And that is a dieback from S4. Bulldog looking for the bashes, but he's going to need a fair few more. GG is called. Game 2, just an absolute showing of the skill that you would expect from Secret's lineup. And if they're able to keep this up in game 3, it's going to be a tough one for Alliance. But at the same time, if they whip up the same way in game 1, Alliance still have, you know, every opportunity to take this series. But it's good to see at least Secret were able to bring themselves back after a bit of a disappointing showing in game 1.
Yeah, a much more well-balanced draft. Alliance is being a little bit more all-in. They had to try to set the tempo with the Blink Daggers. You see right there, Envy all smiles.
Always happy.